Okay, so we have an urgent breaking news coming out. US President trade war has already sparked a massive cancellation of shipments from China to the US. We have some very important updates here, guys. It says here tariffs are delayed but not canceled. What you can do to reduce the impact on your grocery bill. All right, so we're gonna get to all this here, guys. This one here is very important. It does talk about the prices of, meat, food, avocado, oil, seafood, and coffee. We're gonna get to all this here. This is a very important update here. So we're gonna get to all this news. We have breaking news coming out. It seems like India will be producing iPhones in 2026. No longer will it be China. All right, that information is coming out, and I just shared it on my Twitter page. Give me a second here. Let me just pull it up really quick. If you can, please share the video. Thank you so much for your support. I think this is the one right here. Yeah. So just in, Apple to produce all US bound iPhones in India by 2026. So we are definitely seeing something here. China's not going to like this one bit. They're not going to like this one here one bit. All right, so we are definitely seeing some talks. Remember, Donald, he's talking to other countries. Other countries are willing to negotiate. All right, like seafood. I told you guys, you have Argentina, like South America, we get seafood from them. Now we do get seafood from other countries like China, Japan, and all that. But again, I just spoke to a manager at Publix. She said that when it comes to seafood and meat, we good. We are good when it comes to that because a lot of our stuff comes from South America. It doesn't directly come from China. But when it comes to product like this, yes, they do come from China. So we're gonna see what's going on here, guys. We have a lot of information, some very important updates. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. And for those of you that want to help and contribute to the channel, we do have the PayPal link and the Cash App link in the comments box and also description box. Thank you so much for your support. So we're gonna start with these two news articles, and like I said, I will keep bringing up more of these updates. I got another video coming up. It's gonna be around 11:30. So I know many of you don't stay up that late. But yeah, I will post a video later on tonight. So it says here, Donald trade war has already sparked a massive cancellation of shipments from China to the US. All right, very important updates here, guys. And I just posted a video not too long ago. The title is Trump has 2 weeks left to save America. Now, I'm not saying it like that, like he's Superman. I'm referring to the tariffs. Okay, please don't take it the wrong way. So in the weeks following, Donald 145% tariffs on China. Shipping of the Chinese imports to the US have fallen steeply as companies try to avoid the price increases on products. The whiplash of a company stockpiling inventory ahead of tariffs, then pulling back on imports from China is exacerbating a supply chain nightmare that will likely also have negative impact on consumers. Early shipping data is already beginning to show a clear drop of imports from China as a result of Donald trade war, and logistic experts are warning continued tariffs could send the industry and broader economy into choppy waters. With U.S. tariffs on China ballooning to 145%, companies have reacted accordingly, spending the months preceding Donald's second term, ramping up shipments in order to stockpile inventory of specific components predicted to be hit hard by tariffs. But immediately following the April 9th Liberation Day, ocean shipped orders have done a 180, with volume dropping dramatically. The Trump administration is now floating a substantial cut to the Chinese tariff, though some taxes will still remain. To make matters more complicated for the freight industry, the administration is also pushing towards with a port fee for Chinese vessels, meaning that carriers made in China may incur levies up to $1.5 million when they visit an American port, part of a continued effort to discourage trade war with China. Now, the White House did not respond to the news request for comments. Just weeks into the new tariff policy, U.S. imports from China have plummeted, with volumes falling more than 10% the week of April 7 compared to volumes that the year before, and nearly 30% the week of April 14, according to a report published Tuesday by supply chain platform Project 44. Prior to the first week of April, imports volumes were consistently higher than they were the year higher, suggesting some companies pushed up order shipments in order to dodge the impact of tariffs. Man, really a lot of stuff is going on here, guys. So again, these tariffs, what we are witnessing right now is just the tip of the iceberg. All right, so again, it's like Titanic hitting the iceberg. All right, so everything seems fine and all that. Then you got the very important people, including the captain and the one that helped build the ship, has entered the situation room. And you know man, what do you call that? The blue map. It's not the blue map, but you guys know what I'm saying. When when the one guy explained that the water's coming in and this thing's gonna bring down the Titanic to the Atlantic Ocean. Well, that's what we are seeing right now. We are seeing the hit of the iceberg. Eventually, the water is gonna spill to one component, to the next, and to the next, and to the next. So we are definitely gonna see a domino effect here. So everyone is basically on a ship right now, and we are seeing this economy taking a big hit. Trade war is impacting everyone. All right, so it says here, since the tariff implementation, the rate of blank sailings, or when a carrier skips a scheduled port of call, usually as a result of slowing demand, has also increased, while the East Coast saw 24 blank sailings, a 100% increase since the introduction of Chinese tariffs in February. The West Coast saw 21 blank sailings, a 31% increase from February. The sudden drop in import activity is a sign that after months of companies scrambling to understand how to respond to tariff threat, they have finally needed to pull the trigger on a shipping strategy and have decided at this time to pull back. According to Eric, Vice President of Product Marketing at Project 44. Businesses are already responding in a very, very distinct way, he told the news. A lot of that strategic planning and cost optimization and diversification, all of these strategies and approaches that they've been thinking through are actually to be shown in reality. Data from Port of Long Beach, California, the largest U.S. port and the closest to China, back up the Project 44 findings. The port reported 16 fewer ships to arrive in May, resulting in about 60 ships to arrive compared to the port's usual monthly total of 80. Approximately half of imports to the port of LA come from China. It's my prediction that in 2 weeks' time, arrivals will drop by 35%, as essentially all shipments out of China for major retailers and manufacturers has ceased. And cargo coming out of Southwest Asia locations is much softer than normal. with the tariffs now in place at this moment, and the news comes out and changes almost hourly. You have Gene, executive director of the Port of Los Angeles, said in a Thursday meeting with the LA Board of Harbor Commissioners. Supply chain headaches, which it is a massive headache. Give me a second here, guys. We're going to go with the next one after this, all right? So the prices, how to, when it comes to saving money, what to expect, the items and stuff like that. I mean, it's going to be the real deal. The sudden drop in shipping activity to the U.S. presents a nightmare situation for American companies that have had little time to reorganize supply chains amid Donald whipsaw tariffs. For some companies, it's a deal breaker, not just the initial cost to the imported goods because of the tariff, but because of the uncertainty of the disruption. You have this person here, Mr. Dean Crook, the principal analyst for freight data and analytics at DAT, told the news. Some very important people here sounding the alarm. Very important people, CEOs, presidents. You got all these people. They're very, extremely concerned. A company may decide to forego purchasing product inventory to avoid tariff cost, but then may find itself with a shortage, leading it to either hike prices for consumers or take a hit to its revenue. Now, Mr. Krog explained. But the companies trying to avoid tariff headaches by stockpiling goods have other aches and pains. Mr. Peter Sand, chief analyst of Freight Analytics Platform, told the news, and to manage an influx of product, companies have to make tough decisions, like pulling the trigger on purchasing more inventory than it may need, or investing in more warehouse space, or contracting more trucking companies. Global supply chains work really well when they can go steady. So when you have stop and go, or when you have all of a sudden a rush of cargo like you see right now, that's really putting a strain on global supply chains. Maritime supply chains, Sand said. You got all these important people really sounding the alarm here. The logistics industry got a taste of this in 2019 when followers similar stockpiling as a result of Donald 2018 tariffs. Truck companies bought hundreds of new trucks to accommodate ballooning supply, only to be left with an overcapacity of vehicles and labor the following year when freight demands dried up. The continued disruption in shipping could endanger the livelihoods of logistic workers who rely on bustling ports for consistent hours and work. Maybe a trucker today is hauling 4 loads. If that product starts dropping on the flow coming in here, they may move 3 loads a day. Port of Los Angeles executive director told the news earlier this month. Now, the dock worker who's getting regular overtime may go back to standard hours. So we are not going to see mass layoffs, but the amount of work will be much less than it traditionally has been over the past several years. We almost done with this one here. The consequences for consumers. Once again, guys, please share the video. I appreciate the love and support. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. The uncertainty isn't just bad news for supply chains. Once stockpiled products run out, and companies must reckon with less inventory, businesses selling consumer goods will likely pass off increased cost to consumer, something some conglomerates like Procter & Gamble have already warned about. There will likely be pricing tariffs are inherently inflationary, but we are also looking at sourcing option. P&G CEO Mr. John told the news on Thursday. Guys, I'm seeing all these very important names here. Very important people. If retailers want to avoid raising prices, they may instead accept that they have fewer products option to offer customers or turn to a different supplier for less expensive but lower quality product, according to San. Most frustrating to logistic experts is the lingering concerns about the tariffs' economic impact because of the unknown about where and when Trump administration will land on tariffs, as well as the sheer amount of time shipping takes. 3 weeks for a ship to leave China and arrive in Los Angeles. For example, companies reliant on imports can't expect a reprieve from supply chain uncertainty. If, even if the president said, oh, this was for nothing, we're going to stop the trade war, everything back to normal. It still take 2 months for things to get back to normal. So this isn't a quick recovery. I mentioned in my last video that it could take up to a year. So I was kind of off on that one, but I do believe that it could take up to a year. And the reason why I say that is because trucking companies are going to get hit. They're going to get hit. This is not only containers arriving, but all those dominoes that has fallen, they need to recover too. So that's why I put out the number that it could take up to a year to fix all this. It could take 2 months for the Red Dragon to bring their stuff in, but the rest of the companies also got hit too. It's going to take time for them to recover. All right, so we're going to go with the next one here. The prices, the food, the coffee, all them type of stuff. Tariffs are delayed, but not canceled. What you can do to reduce the impact on your grocery bill. Learn how shopping local can help you beat rising prices. Now, guys, Donald said that prices are going down and the price of gas is going down. I have to put my foot down on this one because during Easter weekend, the gas price in the state of Florida was $2.97 a gallon. Now it's like $3.19 a gallon. So it didn't went down, it actually went up. And again, I'm not trying to bash Donald here, but I'm just speaking facts. Again, gas went up after Easter. You have probably heard a lot about tariffs in the news lately. Yeah, I just read, it seems like it was like a 20-minute article there. It seems like everyone is talking about increasing tariffs on imported goods and all the ways that it will affect us. One of the biggest ways tariffs may hit you personally is through higher prices, grocery prices. We wanted to take a closer look at how these new tariffs might affect your grocery bill and offer a new practical ways to shop locally, along with simple strategies that could help reduce the impact. What is the deal with the tariffs? Alright, so we're going to have to read this because, again, I see some grocery stuff here. It's very important to read it. First, let us start at the beginning. Tariffs are essentially taxes imposed on imported goods, often used by gov to protect domestic industries or to penalize other countries during trade disputes. Tariffs are paid for by the importing entity, in this case, US businesses. Foreign countries and their companies do not directly pay the tariffs. However, the cost of the tariff doesn't stop at the border. It usually gets passed down to consumer. When companies that import these goods to the States have to pay more to bring in products, they often raise prices to maintain profit margins. This means higher grocery bills and increased costs on everyday items. What is the deal with tariffs? Well, there you go. So The situation is further complicated by several unknowns. It's unclear exactly how much prices will rise on the imported goods. The US producers may also take the opportunity to raise their prices, either due to increased demand or other cost pressure. Additionally, if tariffs cause supply chains or disruption or product shortages, prices could climb even higher as demand outspaces supplies. So, how tariffs will impact food prices? The price of grocery is strongly linked to the global economy. Currently, about 17% of all the food and drinks Americans consume are imported. However, that number jumps way up depending on the type of food you are looking at, as well as the seasonality. Let's take a look at a few of the biggest sectors that could be impacted by tariff. The U.S. imports roughly 80% of its seafood and coffee, 59% of its fresh fruit, and 35% of its vegetables, according to the Department of Agriculture. The price for all of those items may shift once these tariffs go into effect. Seafood. A huge portion of the seafood eaten in the U.S. is imported, much of which comes from countries like China, India, and Chile. Now, remember, guys, I brought up that we get our stuff in South America. Chile is the big one, and India. So, Donald, the U.S. and India are actually talking right now when it comes to tariff. So, seafood shouldn't be a big problem where the prices go up. Well, according to the manager of Publix, she said that we're not gonna get affected, and they have meetings. Again, these managers, team leaders, and whatever, they have like these meetings, and she said there was no meeting of prices going up for seafood. A huge portion of the seafood, I can't really know that, switching to U.S. cost seafood such as wild Alaskan salmon or Gulf Coast shrimp can help to avoid these tariffs and support local fishing industries. However, it's important to note that increased demand for domestic seafood may lead to higher prices and potential supply constraint. Coffee. Coffee beans don't grow in the continental US, so we rely heavily on imports from countries like Colombia. Tariffs or trade disruption may easily make your morning brew more expensive. While you can't grow coffee locally, you might consider switching to domestic alternative like charcoal root coffee, which is very popular in New Orleans. I know a lot of people love their coffee. Starbucks is always packed. Avocados. Most of the avocado consumed in the U.S. come from Mexico. Any little hiccup in trade policy or increase in tariffs could instantly lead to a price jump. This is especially true during peak season when U.S. production can't meet demand. California is also grows avocado mainly in the southern part of the state. Shopping for California avocado during the harvest season is a good way to dodge tariff driven price hikes. Instead of avocado toast, you could also try sweet potato toast, which is pretty trending already. Here's the thing, I love avocado. I cannot exchange avocado with sweet potato because I don't like sweet potato like that. So, all right, so it says here cheese. Europe is a major supplier of specialty cheeses, especially from countries like Italy. Tariffs on European dairy could possibly make cheeses like Brie, Gouda, and Parmesan much more expensive. Fortunately for us, and the U.S. has a growing artisan cheese scene. Domestic producers from Wisconsin to Vermont are creating high quality version of these cheese. On top of the excellent quality, these local cheese producers will always avoid the import fees. You can get an incredible brie-style cheese from the famous Alamar Cheese Company, based out of Wisconsin, or an everyday cheddar from the sixth generation Calkins uh, Creamery located in Pennsylvania. There are so many local cheese choices. Fresh fruit and vegetable or veggies, excuse me. We mentioned before that 35% of fresh veggies are imported to the USA, and about 59% of fruits come from other countries. This means tariff could immediately impact anyone using fresh produce and make your grocery bill rise. One of the best ways to combat this cost is to find a local farmers market near you. You can use the National Farmers Market Directorate to find a new local shopping spot. If you have a garden or even just a bit of outdoor space, you may also consider growing some of your own fruits and vegetable. And I believe that is a great idea. That's what me and my wife do. Actually, the wife does it more. She has the greenhouse. She has the garden. She has the, again, fruit, vegetables, and tomatoes, and lettuce, and strawberry. I mean, we got some very very amazing fruits and vegetables that we grow. Even in the city, we had a house, renting a house in the backyard. We even had a garden there. So I suggest people, it's good to go to Home Depot, pick up some of these seeds, and start planting. All right. So once again, I'm just gonna skip some of this stuff here, but again, olive oil. That's another one there. Olive oil. A large portion of olive oil on U.S. shelves comes from countries like Spain and Italy. Wow, a lot of stuff comes from Europe. Tariffs on these imports can push prices higher, especially for extra virgin and specialty oils. You may have already noticed the prices of olive oil going up. Oh, yeah, due to years of bad crops. But unfortunately, those prices may now keep going up. End times. End times. Everything just going up. Wine. I am so sorry, wine lovers. But imported wines, especially from Europe, South America, and Australia, may be in a line of fire when it comes to these new trade tariffs. This means your favorite bottle of French Rose or Argentinian Malbec could get pricier. Consider switching to wines from California, Oregon, or Washington if you want to avoid paying extra for tariffs. These regions all produce a wide range of delicious wines. Even the East Coast has some fantastic wine option. The Long Island wine country is an up and coming area that is definitely worth considering. You may even discover your new favorite vintage. I don't even know why I read that. Hey, this is just tariff stuff. I'm not saying people to go out there and get wine. Again, this is all tariff. Grocery shopping tips. To manage your grocery bill, you can start by focusing on buying seasonal produce. Shop at local farms or markets, where items are often cheaper and unaffected by import taxes. You also consider switching You could also consider switching to U.S. alternative for items like cheese, wine, and olive oil to avoid tariff-related markups. So again, there are ways to save money. There are ways to save money because again, avocados in Mexico, but you could get them in California. And I know people's gonna be like, "Lewis, I live in New York, man. How in the world am I supposed to save money? Go down there, buy 2 avocados, and come back?" So again, I know it doesn't make any sense, but California, you guys could save money. Again, New York could still save money. People could still save money. It just, there's always an option. There's always a way. All right, guys, so I'm going to end it here. This is all the information. We're going on 30 minutes. All right. So once again, very important news when it comes to tariffs. So experts are really sounding the alarm. In the next 2 weeks, we could see empty shelves, but do not panic. Actually, it's we could start seeing a little bit empty shelf, but during the summer or like near fall, that's like the big one. So again, yeah, again, you have these CEOs are really sounding the alarm, and they're telling Americans all these things that could come. They even told Donald, "Hey Donald, this is gonna happen. So we just want to come here and let you know that again, we're gonna get hit." Thank you so much for watching, guys. For those of you that want to give a life to Christ, you can email me. My email is in the description box. Me and my wife are here to help many and to lead many to the righteous path, and that's the path of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. For those of you that want to send us letters, a prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. Once again, guys, $1 a month Patreon. We get you access to our live stream once a week. We talk about things that we cannot talk about on this platform. Also, I posted videos today. Those links will be in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ, for He's the only way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.